All right, guys, just gonna wait a few minutes till we get a few people on. If you are on, welcome, welcome. Please say hi so I know who we got hanging out with us. I can't see the user listing of people who attend. All I can see is a little icon suggesting how many folks are currently watching. So I'm gonna let this run for about 60 seconds, and then we'll get started, and we'll kind of go from there. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Got a couple of comments here. Sorry for the delay there. Let's get started. Hey, Kyle. That's fun. I'm glad you enjoyed that Serbia game. Is that the SPW system? All right. Hey, Bruce. All right. Let's get started. That's unusual. I've got a little monitor on my PC in my back room here, and it says that nobody's online, but here I can see there are 6 folks online. So who knows what's going on. All right. OCS from the gamers, Triumph and Folly. It's the first version of the Sicily game, not the new second edition, which is a much more condensed version. It's a 1-mapper. This is the big 2-map monster. So you can see, and I'm sorry about the glare there a little bit, we're just going to have to deal with it. And if you watched any of the other live play or videos, you'll know that we're in turn 2, which I believe is the 12th of July. Is it July? Yeah, July. And last time I did live play, we did the Allies. I finished up the Allies gameplay. And now we've done the German movement. So if we look at the turn sequence and all that sort of good stuff, we've done the German movement, their reinforcements, movement, supply, which was a little tricky. I actually had to adjust some units' locations, in particular these guys, because from here they're fine to be in trace supply, but from here they're not. It's because it's only 5 hexes back, or the throw, and with the HQ over here and the very hilly, rough terrain, it was very difficult to get them into trace. So what I probably should have done, without going into too much detail, was move this HQ, which only has a 6 range. It's a pretty useless headquarters unit, but he's in a town there. He needs to move to Santa Ninfa, so he's on a main road. And these guys only need to get back to a main primary or a tertiary road anyway, and to be in trace. So we're at technically we're at the reaction phase, and I do have a couple of things we're going to do in the reaction phase for the Allies, and they will be fun and games as well. I'm going to try and jump on a couple of quick comments here. Been paying as in general, taking a break, and I enjoy watching someone play a real war game. What's up, man? Good afternoon. Itinerant, what's up, dog? Hey, I loved your board that you built, and your minis. Looks very cool. So, okay, Kyle, it was the GMT game. Yeah, Kyle, that's an impressive system. I haven't played it. It looks a little too intense for me, and I'm not a huge World War I fan, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. Okay, let's get going here. So, like I said, reaction phase, and we're going to. I've got these ships here that are in range. They've only got an 8-factor capability. I don't know if you can see that okay. I'm going to try and get you a little bit closer here. All right, 8 factors between them. I'm going to combine and bombard 1, 2, 3 this force here. And the reason why I want to do that, if you're familiar with OCS, is that is going to really that will kill this attack, and the Germans will then probably not attack. But before I do that, I have to. It's reaction phase, right? But what I have to do is actually resolve this air barrage first, and that'll also be a driver for whether or not we're going to go through with his attack. You see how I clipped that guy right there? He's got a huge hack on his side. Okay, so I'm going to roll 3 dice. It's 24 combat factors coming into this bad boy, and we'll work it out in a second. And that's an awfully good roll. That's a 10 and a 6, and we'll talk about the 6 in a second. So we've got 12 going in, and I'm going to grab the barrage table. I'm going to look in the 12-factor column, and I'm going to make adjustments for terrain and density and whether or not there's a spotter, and of course there is a spotter. And in fact, there's an Italian spotter, which is even better, because I think in this game you have to have by nationality, the spotters by nationality. It's one regiment or less. It's a shift to the left. So we're going to move from the 24 column down to the slightly less sexy 12 to 16 column. Let's say I roll a 10. Wow. Okay, let me just double check that. What else? Do I make any other adjustments? What's terrain? It's clear. Shit, this guy's a toast. This is pretty impressive. I've never actually done this to anybody before, I don't think. It's not... come on, are you serious? We have a correct spotter? Yeah. Oh, of course, I gotta roll for flak before we do anything too. See, I'm getting some shit out of order. Remember this roll. Let's grab 3 more dice, and let's do the flak. You know, you get all excited about you want to get some meaty parts, and you forget all the in between bits. So we're gonna roll for flak for this attack that's going in, and we're gonna be fine. I rolled a 6 on the flak. So the attack goes in, hits the 26th Regiment from the 1st Infantry Division, and because I rolled a 6, I'll show you here the result. I'm trying to see this on the camera. Is a 1, 2. Oh no, is that a 10? Oh, it's in brackets. Okay, so we're lucky. So we skate. Okay, so that's just going to become a DG. If it had have not had brackets, which is what I thought it had, I was looking at the 17 to 24 column, that would have been a direct hit and destroyed that entire regiment, for better or for worse, which is really fugly. We would not want that to happen to the poor old Allies. So those guys are DG. These guys go back to base, back to Naples or Rome or wherever the hell they came from, and go to inactive. I think they came from Naples, I forget. Doesn't matter where they go back to. So that 10 and 6, that was a very effective roll. That was my my barrage going on in there while you guys are like pounding questions in here. Let me see what's going on here. Hey, Hudson's here. What's up, Hudson? Jason, I should say, sorry. Itinerant, you know what I'll do? Todd, what I'll do is explain it to you at some point, because there's a capability to enable the beta version of live chat or live streaming, and you've got to have. I've got a mobile device that allows me to do that straight from my phone, so that's kind of what that is. All right, did that. We do have another attack that we need to resolve over here with air, and this is going to get a little complicated here as well, unfortunately. I'm trying to get this to sit straight because it's going to tip. I can feel it ready to go. Let's do it like that. Okay, this air with this escort is coming in to try and degrade the capabilities of this unit here so that this attack can occur. And the Indomitable CV, aircraft carrier, is in range here as a patrol zone, and they can reach in and intercept. And so they're going to try and intercept this attack at the end of the movement phase before anything else happens. So they're going to roll for intercept. They do not suffer from flak, and they roll a dinky. Is that going to be good enough? Let's see. No, it's not actually. So that's going to be a 6. You take the 2 combat factors and net it out. They're actually going to be at a -1, so that's going to make that a 5. And 6 or less is on the results table is an attacker abort. And if we had have rolled higher than a 1, I forget what it is, it's a 4, 5, or 6, then these guys would have lost a step. So that interception is over, and he goes back to the Indomitable, and he is considered to be now ops complete, or whatever you want to call it, inactive. And these guys carry on through to their attack. Now, if we had been successful and forced this guy to abort, then I would have returned this dude back to his base. He would have stayed active, and then he could have tried to intercept again and then attacked the bombers. And that's when it starts to get interesting. But that didn't happen for them. So now we're going to do flak for the bombing run with these 88s going in, these Junker 88s. And I just dropped the die. I'm going to roll that again. Yes, 7 flak. 7 on the flak. That's going to be close. Well, actually, no, it should be okay. Where is the table? 7 on the flak. We have to add 1 because it's in patrol zone, I think. So that makes it an 8. No headquarters, no airbase levels, no intrinsic value on the map, blah, blah, blah. I'll add 1 if the mission includes at least 1 fighter. That's 2. Okay, so it's still only, what did I say, 7 plus 2 is 9. We need 11 to force a loss, so the attack goes in. So now we're doing 3 times. I'll get to the comments in just a minute. Got to concentrate. 3 times 9 is 27, and I rolled a 6. The best we're going to do is get a DG here. I was really hoping to just kill that little Canadian sucker. What did I say, 27? Well, that's going to pop me up on a high table. I've got a spotter. I rolled a 6 though, so it's only going to be DG. Yeah, so that's no great shakes for all that air power that goes there. These guys go back to the base. This guy goes back to his base, and I believe he then becomes inactive, so he goes underneath his little base. These guys fly back to Rome, and they are now inactive. There's my phone. I'm going to reject that call. And one of the side benefits of streaming live on your phone. Okay, that's the barrage phase that occurs at the end of movement. Why are you here? Oh, yes. And now what we need to do is do the reaction phase for the Allies. And the Allies' reaction phase, as we were talking earlier on, let's move back over to this combat over here. And I will pause to take note of people's comments. We're going to do this this attack here with 8 factors. Yeah, it is a loud ringer. Sorry, guys. Okay, looks like you guys are having a final conversation. Yes, I'm going to carry on and let you guys talk amongst yourselves. That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to do this 8-factor barrage here. And there's not a high chance of much success here. So we're going to do it anyway. Yeah, 5 is not going to be anything, I don't think. You need to roll 6 or better most of the time. 8 factors, yeah. 8 factors, you need a 7 actually. So no effect there. So done, finished. That would be the end of the reaction phase on this side of the map. And if you want, we can roll through this combat and just run this sucker right now. What do you say? I think we should do that, and we'll come back over to the other side of the map in a second. Kev, the board looks so pristine. Well, it's because it's got Plex on it. Right, here we go. Let's do it. I really want a beer. Damn it. Okay, let's just keep going here. I'm not actually attacking with these guys. You know what? They don't have a zone of control, so that was a really stupid idea to move that guy up. Doesn't add any value. So we've got 3 factors, 5 factors, 9, 11 factors attacking this disorganized unit. 11 factors attacking. I have a little application here that is going to run the combat with us. A, so we don't make any mistakes, and B, so that you can see the percentage odds of things happening. So, oh, you're okay. Not there's anything wrong with that. 11. And we're going to do the defender is going to be 3 because he's halved. And no hog, it's open terrain. I'm going to put this back over here for a second. And that's going to be open terrain, so we're going to leave that. And now we're going to do the ARs of the respective combat units. The best is a 5. And I'm going to use this dude to be my lead unit because he's the dinkiest, smallest. And he is going to have a 5. And the other chap, the Americans from the 1st Infantry Division, have a 4 -1 because he's DG'd. So he becomes a 3. So we've got a 2 delta on that. So what does that mean? Hang in there. What does that mean? I don't know if you can read those results because the screen has got that flickering. It's amazing what our eyes filter out, isn't it? I'm going to read some of that to you, and I'll tell you what this means, what the potentiality is here. And I've actually got a die roller here that we could use, but I like to roll the dice. We have, in effect, only an 8.5% chance of taking a loss as the attacker, and the defender has an 85% chance of taking a loss. The worst result I could get would be a 0.39% chance of a 2-step losses as the attacker. That would suck, wouldn't it? The best result that I could get, I only have a 7% chance of getting. But I basically, the cumulative potential here is pretty nasty. So it's going to end up being a 4-1 attack in the open terrain, and we're going to go for it. I'm going to roll through. We're going to roll for surprise first of all. Yeah, I love the AC. No, we're not going to do any Artie support. Here's why. Artie is expensive to use, and there's a long conversation we can have about artillery as an artifact in this game, and they end up being more of a road bump defensively than they are a proactive combat unit. You tend to use air more than you do anything else. So artillery is just too expensive to use, and I don't want to use it now. I don't want to spend the supply, although I probably had enough. I started moving this guy up to use the artillery, but the air already disrupted him, so there's no need to do anything else. It's not going to get any better than that result there unless I had an opportunity to kill a step, and I really don't. So now we're going to roll for surprise. So I'm going to take where's my little set of dice that I use? I'm going to roll 3 dice. and we're going to try and roll for surprise. And I get a 9, which is going to be good enough to get a surprise, and I rolled a 3 for the column shifts. And what does that mean? Well, let me explain it to you, grasshoppers. We're not doing an overrun, we're doing a regular attack. And so here you can see through the blur that I need a 10 or more. And you're saying, but Kevin, you said you roll a 9. Well, I get the delta between the AARs, which was 2. So that pops me up. Okay, so then you roll another die, and that's the number of combat shifts. So I've got a raw 4 to 1. And that little calculator there is showing me what the odds are at 4 to 1 in the open. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? So now we're going from 4 to 1 in the open up 3 columns, which is going to pop me up actually to the 9 to 1 table because the columns are not equidistant, right? 4, 5, 7, 9. Gotta love that, right? Okay, so now we're going to roll for the combat result. I'm going to roll these 2 dice. They've been rolling high all day, except for now. And that's a 5, plus the 2 difference for the AR is a 7, and I'm going to go down the 9 to 1 column. These guys are toast. DL102. All right, so the defender has to take a step loss. So he's gone. That is the 2nd regiment I have lost invading this fucking island. Okay, 7... A01, attacker 01. I believe, no, here, let me make sure this is right. Because the enemy was eliminated, I think I still have to take the step loss if I want to advance into the hex. I don't necessarily want to advance into the hex. I just wanted to pop that guy. So I'm very happy with that. And I also get a, I think you have to take the loss if I want the exploit as well. Did I say a 9 or a 7? A01, E4. Yeah. And I don't really want the exploit either, so I don't care. Anyone else know if that's correct? Yeah, Bruce. You've got to pay for the attacks in supply points, and if you knew how bad it was to move shit around, then that would be it. All right. So lots of brave Americans, 17 years old, with peach fuzz on their chins, just got their asses kicked by the somewhat more elite German forces here. All right. That was excellent. I loved that. Now let's get over and have a look at a little more complex attack here, because over here, and this is all we're going to do. I'm not going to. This will wrap up pretty much the German turn. We're going to remove some admin counters and things, and that'll be it. Okay, so we managed to DG here, right? And then I said I was in my reaction phase. I was going to try and barrage the enemy. Now, a DG'd unit can act as a spotter, and all I've really got, unfortunately, I think my aircraft all got bumped in the holding box over here, and I've rejiggered them as best I can remember, but it seems I had an inordinate number of units in the inactive box for some strange reason. I think it's because it's a level 2 base, I'm not sure. So this is all I could really cobble together to do an attack here. So I've got 12 factors going in, and these top 2 units are battalions. In fact, I think one's a company, there's a Tiger company in there. So this is a small stack. It's just over 1 re. And in fact, it's 1 re up to 1 less than 2. No, so we're not going to get a negative shift, but it is in close terrain. That town is going to count as close. So that is going to pop me back 1 column. I said 12 factors, right? So we're going to be on the 8 to 11 versus the 12 to 16, but got to do flak first. And oh my God, there's someone here. All right, if you guys want to hang out for 1 minute, I will be right back. I'm sorry to do this. We're just gonna, yeah, I've got 2 cats, dude. It's not an overrun, gamer. Jason, it's not an overrun. It's combat. Because we're in the combat phase. I'll be back. You need to give me 60 seconds, okay? Okay, so now I know why I got a telephone call. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I got a gallon of ice cream I got to put in the freezer. Okay, hilarity ensues. There we go. Just to compensate, I got a beer. And now I'll try and catch up to where we were at. Hopefully there's still a couple of you left. Sorry about the delay. Let's see. I'm not gonna, ice cream. Hey, I'm gonna, hey Chuck, what's up, man? I'm gonna just carry on with this and assume that it's all good. Yeah, okay. Let's see. I have no idea where I was. Oh, God, that's right. I think we were doing this. That's right, we're doing this thing here, and I had to roll for flat. No, I rolled for flak, and I was okay. And I rolled a 5. Is that correct? And we were looking for adjustments, and it said it was going to be a -1 on the table. -1 on the table. Now you're going to have to put up with me burping while I drink my beer. How many factors am I attacking with here? 12? On the 8 to 11 table, and I rolled a 5. Yep, shit out of luck, nothing. So there is no result there. And if we had have got a result there, all of these guys attacking would have been attacking at half, assuming they decided to go ahead with the attack. So these guys, oh wait, it's not 12, it's 13. Is that going to make a difference? It's still going back 1 column, so no. All right. Because the escort gets to drop his little bomb stuff as well. All right. Well, that's disheartening for the... that's disheartening for the allies there. All right. Now let's resolve this combat, and then I'll let you guys go. I need another swallow of this. I can't believe that's why I got that telephone call. So Grandma was dropping food off for tomorrow night, which involved ice cream, fajita meat, and all sorts of other yummy things. She bought some pre-packaged queso too. Look kind of nasty. Damn it. And here, see why this guy is here? This guy's here for a reason. Because he was going to do this. He was going to intercept this attack. And I wanted to, this whole freaking point of doing the video is showing you that. So let's keep everything the same, and let me show you what happens if this attack goes through. So this Mr. Schmidt here, the 109s are going to try and take on the Spitties, and we're going to do an interception attack, and I roll a 7. Oh boy, a 7. And a 7 is going to be both aboard, I think. I believe it is. Yeah, both aboard. Okay, so that's not going to change the result of the combat. So he aborts back to here. He goes inactive. This guy would have gone back now, and then this attack would have gone through. The flak roll, because it didn't have an escort fighter with it, would have been 1 higher, but it still wasn't going to be 11. The attack would have gone in at 12 factors, and everything is all the same. This is one of the things that I like about the OCS system, is even if you make a mistake and forget something that seems seemingly critical, and you're massively OCD. I have to do everything in exactly the right order, otherwise I will kill myself mode. It really doesn't freaking matter, because at the end of the day, by the time you start layering through and rolling through all of these different little aspects of the game, the different modifiers and all the rest of it, once you get to the combat results tables, you're going to find that it all basically will work out in the wash. And that, I think, is the hallmark of a good game. It's somewhat forgiving for the more absent-minded of us that are here. Chuck, how you doing, brother? I'm glad to see you tune in. I'm drinking a cerveza here. Actually, this is the first Mexican beer I've had in a long time. But that's because it's at least 96 degrees outside. Okay, time to do this combat. Let's see here. So this chap is going to be 6 factors. I'm going to use the little combat calculator again. He's going to be 6 combat factors divided by 2. It's going to make him 3. And the, what's the AR rating? Can someone tell me? I bet it's 4, right? So he'll be a 3 on that. Please be a 4. Yes, it is. And these are Canadian, so, you know, they're tough, but not that tough. Okay, get rid of the error. And you're going to love this combat, I think. Now, they're all tanks here, right? So, and we're fighting... Is that across the river? No, I was here, that's right. I moved it to check, didn't I? I moved it to look. I came down this road here. 3, 5... there's 10 there. So, is that right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's 10. Okay, so it's going to be 10. I don't know why I'm stuttering over the fact that there's 10 freaking things. Oh, good for you, dude. I'm glad the move is going okay. So 10 factors. Now, they're all yellow boxes. We're in the open. This guy is toast. That's 20 factors. We're doubling our combat factors because we're tanks in the open, and we're lean and mean, and we've got tigers. And these tigers don't have to roll for any sort of failures like in some other games. They like the crisp, clean air of Sicily. So that's 20 factors right there, plus 2, 22. These guys are coming across the bridge. 22, they're going to be halved. Is it worth even doing that? What's 22 going to be versus 24? Yeah, it's going to be the same odds. So let's just do 22, and I won't use these guys, and that's one less supply I've got to pay. Oh! And over here, I did not pay supply points. I've got to throw supply to those guys. So I need to put a marker on that to remember to do that. I will do that over there. Now, as a halved unit, and when you're attacking, you've got to make a choice about whether or not you're going to supply your guys for the combat. And if I don't supply this guy, he will be halved again. However, I can use my own internal stocks and go to low ammo. And because I have a sneaking suspicion that I am going to die in this hex, I am just going to use internal stocks. I think you're allowed to choose to do that, so I'm going to do that. So he's going to go low ammo and be at the highest he can be in terms of combat factors. I've got 3 units here and 1 here. That's 4 units attacking. That's 4T. So I'm going to go up to my little combat stack here. Look at that. 1. This guy's got a full SP. Okay, that's 1 full supply point, which breaks down into 4 tokens. And I need to spend 4 tokens, so he's going to go to empty. And we're going to flip him over. So the donkey's tank is empty. And I have to throw those from my HQ, which is in this hex, down to these guys. 1 to there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we can make it. Okay, I'm just showing you the supply trace to the to the result. There you go. Now you're right in the action. All right. there's a question. So there's no anti-tank effects because there is no red box in the defensive unit. If this unit was being attacked by these units, then yes, the anti-tank effects would apply. Good question. Okay. Right, I said 3, and I got that in there, and I said we've got to choose a unit that's going to be the lead unit. Do I want to risk my tigers? You know, I'm feeling pretty good about this attack. I'm not too fussed. So I have a 2%, less than 2%, slightly just over 2% chance of taking a loss on this combat. I am not too afraid, so we're gonna go all in with our tigers, and just roll for surprise now, and let the tigers be the lead unit. And unfortunately, 7. I'm not sure we're going to make it to get a surprise shift. So what did I say? 7 versus and that's a 3, that's a 5. So 7 plus 2 is 9, and I need 10, I believe, to get surprise. Let's just check the little chart. 10 to get surprise? Yes. So there's no surprise. There's no 4-column shift bonus. So now we're going to be a raw 7-1 in the open, and we're adding 2 to the die roll. And I'll come back to the comment in a second, and I roll an incredibly average 6 plus 2 is 8. That'll be good enough, but we may have to take a step loss. 7, what did I say it was? 6 plus 2 is 7 on the 7-1 table. Yeah, we're sweet. It's an AO1 DL101. AO1 right there. Can you read that? Okay, what does that mean? It means the defender must take step loss. See, we knew we would do that. So we're going to take that guy out. He goes off the board. That is the first Canadian major loss. Everything else has been British Airborne because they suck. And DL1. Now I have an A. Now the rest of my result is an AO1, and if the attacker takes his option to retreat, I always get hung up on this friggin' result when it's like this. Defender can ignore yada yada yada. Yeah, I don't need to take a step loss if I don't take the hex. I don't believe. I'm just going to have to check that now. Now I'm annoyed. AO1. In an attack, I'm going to look this up real quick. So if you can bear with me, since you've sat around and waited while I while I moved ice cream, we may as well check this combat result and get it right. Attack retreats, defend as a result becomes a DL1. Attacker dies by the L1. Defender ignores result. It's the defender that ignores the result. If attacker dies or otherwise takes his required step loss. Okay, but it's an A. That's when it's an AO1. AO1 DL1. Lone defending step is destroyed. Attacker must execute his option. AO1. Okay, that's what I thought, which means over here I am gonna have to retreat back on this. I'll show you here. So here's what's gonna happen here. If I've got the option here, I either have to retreat or take a step loss, and I'm going to retreat 1 hex because I do not want to lose my lead tiger unit, and I'm happy to do that because all I wanted to do was punch these guys in the face and then carry on with our staged retreat back through the mountains up to wherever, Messina. So if same here, if I wanted to over on this combat that we did over here, if I wanted to take advance into that hex, I would have to lose this unit. Otherwise, I have to retreat, AO1. I've got to execute my option, even though the enemy died. right? So I'm going to retreat 1 hex, and this guy will retreat 1 hex as well. Okay, does that make sense? It's a nuance in the game, and it's not even a nuance. It's just there are many different combat results. You have results where the attacker has to take a loss, and he has the option to retreat or take a second loss. And there's situations where the attacker doesn't take any losses, and the defender takes losses, but he might have an option to advance or be given an option to retreat, and that's where it gets a little complicated. You're actually going to have to fulfill some of those things. Yeah, attacker takes option first, correct. Yeah, I always, I get it. You start playing these games, and the first thing you do when you do an attack is you kill off the bad guy. These guys that you're attacking. Well, really, in this game, you resolve what happens to the attacker first, because he has to make the choice about what he's going to do. Now, that result, nevertheless, if that had been just a D01 or whatever the case may be, then the defender could have stayed and taken a step loss as well. That's another thing that could happen. It gets a little hairy working these results out. And just so you know, that there was only a 16% chance that was going to happen. So there you go. Not necessarily an awesome result for these guys. If I was on the attack, I'd be kind of pissed off because now I've got to try and push back up here. But I don't care. All I wanted to do was try and knock off a formation and weaken the 1st Canadian. This is a very weak flank for them. They now have one of their landing zones and ports exposed. It puts it saves Gala for 1 more turn down here. That's an Italian unit that's DG'd there that did not get attacked last turn. So I now have an option here to push more heavily into that breach. But what's more than likely going to happen is that the 5th Infantry is going to land, the 5th Infantry Division is going to land there and sort out this flank, since the Canadians don't seem to be capable of doing it today. Ideally, what I would have liked to have done is brought the 5th Infantry in at Syracuse and reinforce this push this way. We've got a lot of ground to cover here, and we're not doing a good job of consolidating force and pushing forward. And I had to make a concession somewhere, and it was here. Knowing that I would probably get attacked, I was not expecting to be attacked quite so effectively, stuck in the open there. Could not get to this town to make the combat result be executed in a closed hex, which would have changed the combat result probably fairly significantly. That would have made it see, there's the beauty of this combat table. It actually would have been the same combat result. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that would have been the same. So much for finessing. Once again, you look at this game and you think, oh, I need to min-max everything. With the surprise rolls being the way they are, and with the combat results table being as big and broad as it is, you are going to have many similar results running across and up and down the table. And so it pays you to plan for success from a movement standpoint, as opposed to a nitpicking trying to get the best odds on a particular attack. I'm going to take a couple more questions, and then we're going to probably wrap it up here. We got oh, hey Chuck, this is OCS. It's the Sicily module for OCS. Yeah, Ricky Dick, this is the earlier edition. I just ordered the smaller edition last night, in fact. And that's a 1 mapper with 2 counter sheets. And a lot of this extraneous artillery I think you see on the map here is built into and incorporated into the various combat units, particularly the British. The British have all these little battalions of artillery running around, the Royal 78th Field Artillery Battalion, and they're just all a pain in the ass. I'm probably not even going to bring them onto the map. I just think they're bullshit, and they ought to be built into the combat values of regiments within a division, and pump up their combat value by 1, just to be done with it. It's kind of stupid. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 battalions of artillery sitting back in the floating forces box, and I have 2 brigades of divisional artillery that have not made the map because I just don't use them, and I don't have to manage them. That's just all kind of pointless. All right, so let's see. Let's look at the turn sequence of play cheat sheet that I've got here. So let's see. We just knocked that stack. That's excellent. We did the combat phase. We didn't have any barrages. We did the combat. We now have the exploit phase. We're not eligible for any exploiting anywhere. And now I've got the cleanup. So the Germans get to move, the Axis get to move off, take off all the DGs on all their units. And there are 2. Oh, we've got to do this retreat over here. Oh, I did that, didn't I? Yeah. I'm bumping pieces all over the place here. Let's turn everybody around the right way a little bit now that they're all moved. And I think, let's see, I think that's going to wrap the turn up for us. And let's have a look at the map overall. Hey, Bruce and Keith and gang. Oh, Bruce, you're already here. All right. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit and see if I can show you the map overall. And what I'm going to do, since I've got to take a couple of pictures, I may or may not write this up. I don't know if I'm going to be bothered writing this up, but it is part of the chronological walkthrough of World War II that we're playing. But what I like to do is at the end of each turn, it's kind of mark the progress of the forces of the Allies. And so, you know, I'm going to try and not draw on the units. So they're doing okay. The little bulge here. And this will allow me to take some pictures later on. And then we've got this kind of situation going here. It's a mess in here. So if we take a step back and have a look, the progress for, I'm just going to put a lid on this pen because I always forget to do it and then they dry out. All right. So turn 2, I think the defense has been fairly stout, but not from the perspective that the Germans and the Italians have actually fought well, just that the Americans have been fairly conservative. But I think we've made some deep pushes just because with these, see this white stuff here, they form zones, and Italian formations set up in here. And when they're first attacked, you roll the dice, and they have to you have to see if they survive or not. And of course, this whole section here, they all just vaporized and surrendered basically. And so, you know, 2nd Armored and the 45th took advantage of that and pushed up. Tried to encircle some units here. I think we executed 1 attack here, given the low ammo situation. And everything else pulled back. I had nothing here, so I had to bring in the Fallschirmjäger this turn, drop all these guys there just to find provide a plug, for goodness sake. Over here, it's this panzer group here is very spread out and not able to, that's got to come off, and not able to bring much to bear. These guys are going to suffer in this hex next turn. There's just not a lot I can do. There's supply there. I'm kind of worried about them. I'm second guessing whether I should have tried to move them out. I could not get anything in there to support them. And it's just a shitty situation. They've got the only thing I got going for me here is that the supply chain for the Allies is challenging, and it's challenging for us. And so you literally have got to move supply up and then do the attack. So you get a little bit of a heads up on what's coming. In the meantime, the landings and some overruns here. We captured Syracuse much quicker than I thought we would, but we have no ability to exploit upon that and take advantage of that. The Germans are pulled back here, and that's pretty much what's going on there. It's not a whole lot of action per se, but there you go. Richtig. It doesn't formally split it up. You could intermingle. You could do pretty much whatever you want. But I chose the landing zones. You can also choose ahistorical landing zones. So I did adjust the landing zones a little bit, and hence our problem here with this flank attack that just occurred. Rather than probably hewing more to the historical landings. And the Americans landed pretty much historically as well, just because it makes absolute sense. Where they landed was probably much better than what the original planners had suggested. Okay. All right, so I think that's gonna wrap this little sucker up. So I appreciate you guys checking in and watching some of this. Sorry for the 3 or 4 minute break there with me having to move ice cream into the freezer. But appreciate you tuning in, and look forward to catching up with you again. Perhaps later on today, I'll pop up when there's something interesting going on. So keep an eye on YouTube and Facebook for a notification that there may be some more live gameplay. Talk to you soon.